Greetings YouTube! Today we're looking at Earth-Sheltered Habitat, History, Architecture, and Urban Design by Gideon S. Golani. And I picked this up because I have a fascination with earth-shelter homes. This was originally done in 1983. And I also have an affection for floor plans. And this book contains both. So we start off with different types of construction that can be found to fall under the category of earth shelter. We have kind of a man-made earth shelter design. We have digging into the earth, creating these artificial courtyards. And we have the idea of cutting into the earth and moving in that direction. Again, for places that are very, very warm. And here you have a flat area, and you're living below the ground because of the extreme heats. And you have mound dwelling, literally mound dwelling. And a combination of cliff dwelling and man-made construction. And again, living beneath the earth. And some detailed data, if you're so inclined, showing you places that are appropriate for this kind of construction. And there's some contemporary. This particular thing makes me think a little bit of the scenes from Logan's Run. And then we start getting into more contemporary floor plans and how they can be constructed to take advantage of the earth-sheltered earth itself to act as a regulator. And here we're going for a very futuristic kind of design. I happen to really like that kind of a design myself. I realize that it's not particularly practical when it comes to, like, say, cabinetry and bookshelves and things, but I still find it visually appealing. Subterranean house design. So I try to take into account where the sun goes, and so that you have the type of heating and cooling that you need for that particular environment. For example, sun's here. That's not a great place to put your house. This way is if you're going to want to get heat. This is great if you want to avoid the heat. And a whole layout of different basic concepts of how you can build your structure to get ventilation and to take advantages to both the different types of slopes and the different ways that you can pull sunlight into your home for heating. And this kind of thing is, like I said, I eat this stuff up. I found this at a thrift shop, and I was like, this is so cool. Talking about, again, there's a lot of really detailed data in here. So if you actually were going to want to build a house, this book would be very useful to you. I'm never going to build a house like this, but I am going to be fascinated by it. And here talking about how to take advantage of the slope and the way heat rises to get ventilation and to create convection currents. For example, getting air to move through your building, which helps with natural cooling in the warmer weather. And using especially designed blocks that have ventilation tubes in them. I've seen some things done with low density or light concrete blocks, and they can be quite large, and yet because they're low density, they're light concrete, they actually aren't all that heavy, so they're much more convenient to work with. But I've seen some that were as much as 3 feet long, and they use fiberglass fibers in the concrete to make it much stronger. And then we have some subterranean layouts, different kind of structures to take advantage of both your your location and just simple design elements, because some of this stuff is purely architectural aesthetics. And again, all kinds of ideas in here for trying to come up with different ways that would meet your needs or the needs of the person hiring a company to build something like this for this site, and for what kind of a living situation is going to be designed. Again, we're doing some of the curvier designs, which I find so aesthetically pleasing, even if they are not always the most practical. Because I need things like shelving space. That's just me. And then we get into a conclusion for this chapter. Let me see what do we get into next. Sorry, it's been a long time since I looked at this book. But here you're going for large scale. So you're looking at, you know, like an entire valley you're working with in here. And again, going for the entire slopes and how to build entire cities, towns built right into the existing environmental structures, taking advantage of your terrain. This is intriguing, and that one, it's like something out of definitely out of a science fiction novel, or film, I should say, novel. Yeah. There you go, more mound dwellers, artificial mountain, and again, because of the way it's built, you still get to have lots of the, well, you're in the earth advantages. Free insulation, natural heating and cooling because you're taking advantage of the earth. Oops. Again, lots of data. An entire plan in here showing you how you could design an entire community really built to take advantage of every curve and geologic feature that a site possesses. Oops. More detail, and then we have a selected biography, which is actually quite extensive. As far as the information that you can look up, and for different countries, and each chapter. So there's lots and lots of information in here that's very specific to the desire to build. And I think that the author was coming at this from the position of Israeli construction, because it's a very hot place, and it is a location that if you're smart, you can take advantage of the earth to cool your structures. Because let's face it, it's a very hot location. So there you go, Earth Sheltered Habitats, History, Architecture, and Urban Design.